Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to this channel again today. We have a wonderful recipe for you today, a couple of them. So we're going to get started, but before we do, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment if you will, and like this video. And when you are ready, hopefully today, you'll subscribe to this channel. I am ready to get started, and before we do, welcome to Branna's Kitchen. Okay. Told you on the first video that we were going to make a wonderful lunch today, and that's just what we're doing. What we have on the menu for today, we're going to do some grilled pork chops, and we're not going to grill them in our oven. We're going to grill them in our air fryer. We're just going to season them up and get them started. So before we get started, I'm going to get my pan heated up here, because what we're going to do is we're going to make a homemade rice pilaf. So we're going to start it here. We're going to get our stove just a little bit heated up while we season this up. So, first order of business, we are going to take our olive oil here and we're going to spread it over our pork chops. And guys, you can be liberal with this, it doesn't matter. And we are going to just spread it on the entire pork chop. And again, this is just olive oil. And guys, don't get upset if you don't have olive oil or if you don't use olive oil. It's okay. You can substitute butter or margarine or whatever. And honestly, you don't have to put anything on it if you don't like. It's strictly up to you. But I like a little olive oil on mine. For whatever reason, olive oil just kind of enhances the flavor to whatever it is you're using. So we have that coated on the first side. And I'm going to reach over here and grab a spoon because I failed to get that earlier. So we're going to get some of our seasoning. And guys, this is just kind of a rub type thing. It has like a smoky, I don't know, it's not Cajun, but it's a smoky flavor. But I know what's in here. It's like paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, and chili powder. So, and a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. So this is what this is. And feel free to make up your own rub. You don't have to use one. But this is just the one that I have chosen to use for today for our pork chops, because every time we use this, I find that it is so wonderful on chicken, pork chops, and fish. And again, like I said, the ingredients in it is just garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, and chili powder, and salt and pepper, and that's it. And when you're making your own rub, you can actually put whatever you want in it. Those are the flavors that we like, so that's what we have. Now that we have our olive oil and our seasoning on one side, we are going to place it on our rack for the air fryer. And guys, kind of lay it on there if you could so that everything gets a little bit of heat. Okay? Because we're going to use our air fryer, but again, the top layer of the air fryer is the one where the heat will come from. So now that we've done the one side, we're going to do the other side while it's on the rack. And just take your fingers and just rub your olive oil in there and your seasonings in there. And guys, these are the best tools in the kitchen. Doesn't matter how many spoons, forks, knives, whatever. These are your best tools. And a little bit more. And guys, I guess if I had to say, you can probably sprinkle a tablespoon on each pork chop. And again, this is to your taste, so you do it how you want. If you just want a little bit of seasoning on there, that is fine. If you want more than that, put more of that on there. So this is based upon your taste. Let's get it all crushed in there. And just put it on, rub it on good. So that looks pretty wonderful. Now, a lot of times when I do this, I do add a little bit of extra pepper. But again, this has a little kick, a little bit of hot at the end of it, so I'm not going to add pepper this time. So we are going to take our seasoned pork chops over to our air fryer. And we're going to put it on the top rack, close it, and we're going to set it at 400. And the air fryer is going to let us know when we need to either flip it or it's done. So I'll just be listening to it. If you hear a little beep, that's what it is. It's just the air fryer giving us a warning that we shouldn't get going. So guys, I'm going to wash my hands quick. We don't want to cross-contaminate anything. Let's get this up because it doesn't look appetizing at all. So we'll get that and dry off our fingers. Okay, so now we are ready to get started with our rice pilaf. I know you're ready and I'm excited. So first thing, we had our pan heating up while we were seasoning our pork chops. So we are going to get about a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. That's actually 2 tablespoons. So 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're gonna get it in our hot pan. I'm gonna move this over just a little bit, guys, because it's a little bit hotter than I planned for it to be. And so that's our olive oil right there. And I'm just letting the pan cool off a little bit, then I'll put it back on the flame. So we're going to start with our onions. And we're gonna saute our onions real quick, just a little bit, just to get it going. Until they're a bit translucent, sorry. And when we put our onions in there, we're also gonna add the bell pepper to it. And guys, this is a simple rice pilaf. And one thing about rice pilaf is that you can make it to your own taste. Meaning, if you don't like the bell peppers or the onions, you don't have to put that in there. If you do like it, go with it and great. A lot of people put other vegetables in their rice pilaf, like chopped carrots, maybe English peas. I like that, but I like a more savory rice pilaf. So mine always begins with the onions and bell peppers. So guys, we're just gonna mix that up and get it going. Smells wonderful already. You know, always, there's just something about onions and bell peppers cooking, you know? It's like it doesn't matter what you're cooking. If it starts out with this, it's just wonderful. So we'll get that in. And guys, I failed to mention what kind of pilaf this was. This is a vegetable pilaf. And because it's vegetables, that means I can put any vegetables in it that I like. So what I've chosen to put in it, of course, first was the onions and bell peppers. Then we're going to add some spinach, and we're going to add some tomatoes. Now the tomatoes that I've chosen, you can feel free to chop up a tomato, peel it, chop it up. You don't have to peel it, just if you want. A chopped tomato or anything, but I've chosen to use Rotel tomatoes. I love Rotel tomatoes because they have those chilies in there, so it gives you a little bit of spice, you know, at the end of your meal. Love it, it's really good. So we're just gonna continue to brown our peppers and onions. And guys, they don't have to be completely done because we are going to add water to this, and it will cook them a little bit more because I don't like a crunchy, pepper or onion in mine. So we're just gonna let that simmer a little bit and get it going. And guys, while we're just letting it simmer, we're going to just wipe this off over here where we used our pork chops. And guys, I am a big stickler for cooking and cleaning as I go. I have a real problem with having to clean up the kitchen after a whole meal. I like to do it as I go, so you make a point to not have such a big mess to clean up after you're done. So we'll put this in the trash. And I am going to grab a Clorox wipe. And again, this is just to do a little bit of cleaning as we go, so that way once we're done with everything, it's not so messy in your kitchen. And you don't have to do this if you don't want it. It's okay for you, it's okay for me, but for me it's not okay, so that's why I do it. So we're just going to tidy that up a bit. And then we're going to put this in the trash and wash our hands again. I hope you guys have been having a great day. I have. I've been just kind of sitting around waiting to do this video so that I can have a great lunch presentation for you guys. And it's going well so far. Good. Okay, so let's get back to our veggies that we were sauteing. And guys, these are pretty much where we want them. We've been sauteing this now for about maybe 5 minutes. Once you've gotten that done, now here's the thing. A lot of times when you do a rice pilaf, people use brown rice, or brown rice appears more appetizing. I'm not using brown rice. I prefer white rice, but what I'm going to do is brown my white rice. That's hard to say, white rice. Got it. Okay, so what we have here is 1 cup of instant rice. And I will say this. I love to cook things from scratch. I love homemade things. But when I see an opportunity to take a shortcut, I take the shortcut. This is a shortcut. Instead of cooking rice for 20 minutes, this is instant rice, and it really is instant. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. So we're going to use our instant rice today. We're just going to put it on the side. If you've noticed, I have pushed my veggies, my peppers and onions to the side, and I left a little space there. So I'm going to put my rice in that little area. We're going to increase our heat just a bit, and you just let the rice just sit there. Just kind of let it spread out in the pan, and just kind of see if you get a little brown on there, a little bit of color. While that is cooking, guys, and going through, we're going to take some chicken base. This is just regular old chicken base that I got from Sam's, and I pretty much use it in everything. It adds a wonderful flavor to whatever dish it is. If it's a soup, if it's veggies, whatever. I actually use this. I love, my favorite thing in the world to eat is like any kind of greens. Turnip greens, collard greens, it doesn't matter. Cabbage, doesn't matter. But when I cook that, I always put a bit of chicken base in there. So I'm going to take about, that's probably a tablespoon if I leveled it out. So a tablespoon of the chicken base, and we're just going to add it to this side of the pan, the side where the peppers and onions are. And we're just going to kind of work it in. And it melts. It has a little bit of fat in it, so it melts. So we're just going to work that into our veggies. And we're not going to forget to pay attention to our rice that we have there, because again, this is not cooking the rice, this is just giving it a bit of color. So we're going to give that a little bit of stir. And it hadn't taken on any brown color yet, but we're just going to give it a little bit of time, and it will. And guys, while we're waiting on this to brown and do what it does, I have to introduce my husband. Now, he is the cameraman, and he is a wonderful husband. His name is Wesley. We have been married for 27 years. He was the one that actually encouraged me to go ahead and do this. So, we're going to ask him to come from around camera. Come on. Come on. It's okay. He's not dressed because he's the cameraman and he didn't expect to be seen. Don't look like a retard. Hello. Hey. That's Wesley. And so he is great, y'all. He is the best husband on the planet. And I'm very thankful to him for being so supportive. So, back to our recipe. We're going to do this. And if you can tell, the rice it's getting a little bit of color. And we're not going to get it completely brown like brown rice, but we just want to add just a little bit of color to it. Again, we're going to pay attention to our veggies because we don't want those to burn either. If you can smell this, guys, this is amazing. Amazing. Okay? Now, we let the rice saute for about 5 minutes, along with the peppers for about 10 now. So now we're going to mix the mixture together. We're going to combine it all together in this pan. And our rice really didn't get that brown, but it did pick up a toasty flavor or toasty aroma. You can't smell it, but I can, so that's why I know that it's okay now to mix all these together. Get it mixed all together. Now, for those of you who love spinach, like I love spinach, we're going to add our spinach to this. And the spinach doesn't take any time to cook. It's almost like the minute you put heat to it, it withers. That's what we want because we want to add it to this recipe. So what I have here, this is about 2½ cups of spinach. But again, it's going to wither down, so don't be worried about putting too much in or this looks like too much. So we're just going to add our spinach to our rice and pepper and onion mixture. And we're just going to stir it in. And guys, again, I can smell the toastiness of the rice cooking down there at the bottom. going to be wonderful. And guys, I just, want to ask, do you cook rice pilaf? Do you like it? And if so, I would love some suggestions about how you, or some stories about how you prepare yours and what you put in yours and what you do with it. So we're just going to get this all mixed in, guys, all incorporated. Once the spinach starts to wither, we're going to add our other ingredients to this. And it is withering now. Just get it mixed in there pretty good. And I can see the bottom of the pan, so if you guys can't see it, see, it's all browning at the bottom while we're doing this. It's getting a nice, yummy, brown, toasty color on it. Okay? And with that, guys, we are going to add some salt and pepper. I have pepper on one side. We're just going to sprinkle a bit in there. And we have some salt. Again, it's just salted to taste. And here's the thing, you don't want to put too much, so just put a bit in at a time. And once we go back and taste it, if we need to add more, we can. Get that mixed in. Y'all, this smells so wonderful. And see, like I told you, once the spinach heated up and once it started to cook, it just withers down. So now we're going to add our water. And the one thing that you have to realize when you're cooking instant rice, or just like we did the oatmeal the last time, the one thing, there is a ratio from the dry, a ratio between the dry good and the wet good. So with the rice, we used 1 cup of rice. And most of the time with instant rice, it's 1 and 1 is the ratio. Meaning if you use 1 cup of rice, you'll use 1 cup of water. So that's what we had. We had 1 cup of rice, so now we're going to incorporate 1 cup of water. Okay. And we're going to stir that together. Now, how wonderful does that look already? And it's not even done. Okay? And guys, I love food with color. And this has great color already. The green is so vibrant in there. And then there's a little hint of brown in there from our rice. It just looks amazing, but we're going to add one more element, and that is our rotel tomatoes. So, and I'm going to use this spoon that I used the chicken base with. That is a heaping tablespoon, and I think I'm going to do 2 heaping tablespoons. And again, this is suggestion. If you think you want more tomato in there, feel free to add more than that. I'm someone to where I'm going to start out with the 2 tablespoons, but once I mix it up and I get to looking at it, if I think I need a little bit more tomato, I will add it. So now we're going to incorporate our tomatoes in our mixture. And I can tell you right now, that's not enough for me. I'm going to add 1 more teaspoon. And again, 1 heaping teaspoon. Now that looks the way it's supposed to look. Absolutely amazing. That looks wonderful. And guys, I don't know if you're like this or not, but I absolutely love olive oil in my food. It seems like it just enhances whatever flavors you have going on. It's like the olive oil just brings more flavor to it. So I have a little bit of olive oil left, so I'm going to take about a tablespoon of olive oil and just kind of sprinkle it over. That's not a whole tablespoon. Okay? And we're going to mix that in. And we're going to bring this to a boil. Doesn't that look wonderful and festive? That looks like a good Christmas meal, doesn't it? With the reds and the greens in there. Looks amazing. So once we see the bubbles and it has started to boil, we're going to put a lid on it. The one thing you know about rice is that it's not the actual boiling or cooking that cooks it, it's the actual steam that does. So once you get it up to a pretty high heat and it's starting to boil, that's when you can add, you can turn off your heat and just put a lid on it, because the residual, the heat from the residual heat will cook your rice. We're going to get our lid ready, and we're just going to sit it there until this starts to boil. While that's going on, I'm going to grab a paper towel and clean up some of this water that I dripped when I was picking up the spinach. Again, I like to clean as I go, so that way you don't have to worry about doing too much cleaning when you're done. We'll put this in the sink. Grab my spoon. Let's give this a mixture, guys. Make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. Give this a little mix. And we can see. And guys, I am going to grab another spoon. And while this is cooking, I'm just going to give the juice a little bit of taste to see if there's anything we need to add to it. See, that's why you taste it as you go. We need a little bit more salt. But I can taste the spice in there from the peppers. I taste everything else in there, but I just need a little bit more season, a little bit more salt to enhance all those flavors. And again, just about 2 pinches is all I'm adding. And we will stir that again to get our salt incorporated. And as you can see, it's boiling. And guys, those of you who are listening, the air fryer is giving us a hint that our pork chops are getting where they need to be. So, this is boiling. I'm going to let it boil, then I'm going to put a lid on it. Again, it's the residual heat from the initial heat that actually cooks your rice. So we're going to let that simmer for a minute. We're going to check on our pork chops. I'm going to grab an oven mitt to make sure I don't get burned. And guys, I'm going to take this out so you can see it. And I'm going to flip it. You don't have to flip it, but the direct heat is at the top of it. So the top is going to cook a little bit quicker than the bottom. We're just going to sit it right here, and we're going to turn it over. Guys, once again, if you could just smell this, it is amazing. So we've turned it over. We're going to put it back in just so the bottom of it can brown. And close that up and let it go a bit. And I can see that our rice is done. Now guys, this is, when I initially started this, I told you this could be a lunch or a dinner. If you wanted to serve this for lunch, you could strictly just serve the pilaf with the pork chop. Wonderful, simple lunch. Simple, you have your veggies in there, you have your starches in there, you have your protein. Wonderful, wonderful lunch. If you wanted to serve this for dinner, here's another little idea for you. And we're gonna move some of our little dishes out of the way. But what I have in this bowl right here is just cucumbers, sliced red onions, and tomatoes. And I sprinkled a little bit of chives on there. So, and I'm going to move on this side, guys, just so you can see me. But like I said, in this bowl, there are cucumbers, red onions, and tomatoes. Wonderful little salad, and again, I sprinkled a couple of chives in there. So what we're going to do with that, and what I've done already, I'm going to grab a fork, is I mixed up this little mixture here. And what's in here is 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of white vinegar. The spices in here is just a little bit of salt, a pinch of salt, black pepper, and dried basil. And guys, this is just a simple little mixture or dressing, if you will, for veggies, any veggies. If you were just going to have a salad with lettuce and tomato, or just anything you like to put in your salad, this is a wonderful addition to your salad. It's not as heavy as a ranch. It's light like an Italian maybe, but it's even lighter than that because the only thing in here is the olive oil and the vinegar and the sugar, salt, pepper, and basil. That's it. And I almost put a little bit of lemon juice in here to give it just a little bit more acidity, but it wasn't needed. The flavor that it has is wonderful. So all you do is just kind of mix this up with your fork or whisk and just pour it on your veggies. And just take your fork and just mix it up. And this is a wonderful addition to those pork chops and that pilaf. Because again, and this is also a nice, yummy, light meal. This is not something you can eat this maybe 6 o'clock for dinner, maybe even 7, because it's pretty light. You have a lean protein, you have a wonderful mix of vegetables and carbs, and then you have this beautiful, wonderful little cucumber salad that was effortless. It almost took no energy to make. So, I don't know if you can see that, but just take a look in there. How yummy does that look? Looks great, doesn't it? Okay, so guys, we can let that sit. We're gonna get a parchment paper that we had over it, and we're going to just let that sit and let that kind of just marinate and get all of our yummy things going on. We have our rice pilaf still cooking. I've just completely turned that off. We're going to use the residual heat and the residual steam to actually let the rice finish cooking, and we have maybe 2 minutes to go. We are going to go over here and check on our pork chops, because they were pretty much cooked, but all we wanted to do is just brown the other side. So let's just see what they're doing. Looks wonderful. Gonna give it about 2 more minutes, you guys, so we'll get this done. So while we're waiting on that, we are going to get our plate ready. We're gonna move this over. And we're gonna grab our spoon, and we're going to spoon some of our wonderful salad in the bowl, because we're almost ready for our pilaf and we're almost ready for our pork chops. So we're gonna spoon this in the bowl. And guys, don't be afraid to pour some of that dressing on there. If it doesn't have enough on it for you, feel free to pour some on. But look how wonderful that looks. Look at all the beautiful colors in there. It's just something about food that has a very beautiful appeal. When it looks good. I cut off my statement, but when food looks good, again, I said on my last video, you have to remember you eat with your eyes first. So if the food looks good to you, you'll be more prone to eat it. You'll be more excited about eating it. Over here, guys, we have just a little plate of garnish right here. And again, I like to pay homage to the food that we're cooking. So what we have here is just some sliced tomatoes and a little bit of chives, chopped chives, and they're dried, and some spinach. So I don't know what will make this look better. I think I'm going to go with maybe 2 little tomatoes on top, and we're going to sprinkle a couple of our chives across there. Now tell me you don't want to come in and eat this right now. Sure you do. Okay, and while we're waiting on that, we're going to go ahead and decorate our plate. And I spilled a couple of chives on, so we'll just wipe that off. But we're going to decorate our plate. Let's put a couple of tomato slices on the edge right here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's move it so you can. And we're going to go and grab our pork chops. I'm only going to get one, guys. I was looking for another plate because I only took out one. And I'm only going to get one pork chop out of here. But we're going to turn our air fryer off because our pork chops are ready. And guys, that looks amazing and brown. The first side is a little bit browner and it's a little bit more even, so I'm going to use that one. Just flip it over like this. That looks good already. And our rice pilaf, almost completely out of water. So it's probably ready. Let's take a spoon. Oh, look at that. Does that not look amazing? My goodness. That looks absolutely incredible. Before I take it off the fire, guys, I am going to taste it to make sure our rice is completely cooked. Because if it's not, we can just leave it on the eye for just a minute or 2 more, but I think it's going to be okay. Okay. That is the best. Okay, this is my fork. I'm going to leave it right here. So, that is ready. So we're going to serve it up on our plate. And guys, again, you know how much you eat, so just make this plate for you. Look at that. Now, I know you want to eat this. I know it. Look at that. Does that not look wonderful? And we have our little garnish there. We're going to throw a little parsley, chopped chives over the plate. And we're going to, and guys, these are just a couple of little spinach leaves. We're just going to stick them in. They don't have to go on. If you don't want to put them on, don't. But again, presentation is key. And there is a wonderful meal of roasted pork chops with spinach, rice pilaf, and a yummy cucumber and tomato and onion salad. Now, you know what time it is right now. It's time to taste this masterpiece. You know I already had this fork and knife ready. Let's give it a taste. Now you know that looks amazing. Okay. There's our piece of pork chop. Looks wonderful. It's perfectly cooked. It's nice and tender and hot. Let's see it. Now, I know this is hot. Don't laugh if I burn my mouth, but here it goes. Mmm. 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 I may not even have any words. Warmer looking to them. Oh my goodness, I want y'all to see the inside of that. That is so good. It is cooked perfectly. It is soft. It is tender. It is flavorful. It's yummy. One more bite. Mmm. Mmm. Yummy bite. Rice pilaf. With that yummy tomato in there. Spinach. This is hot, but let's give it a shot. Mmm. I would feel terrible if you had to sit here and watch me eat all of this. This is so good. One more bite. I'm sorry, I said 2 bites, but one more. Mmm. We can't go without tasting the salad. Try to get a bit of everything on there. It's your bite of cucumber salad. Let's get it. Mmm. You know the old saying that this is so good that you just want to slap your mom? I should just slap myself. This is delicious. One more bite, guys. Sorry. Okay. Enough. Okay. Thank you again for joining us. Guys, let's think about this. We roasted a pork chop. We made a homemade rice pilaf with a little help from our instant rice. And we had a wonderful, yummy, flavorful cucumber salad. This took us all of about 15 to 20 minutes to make. Okay? The whole point of Branna's Kitchen is to show the working mom, the younger mom that has children, that even though you may have a busy schedule, we can all squeeze out about 20 minutes of our day to make a fantastic meal. This is just too wonderful. Nothing that you can buy in a restaurant is going to taste like this. I am very happy, you guys, and this is wonderful. I'm so glad you decided to join me today, and I look forward to seeing you again. We'll be back tomorrow for our dinner portion. And I don't know if I said this, but I want to mention, you can have this plate for your lunch. For dinner, if you want to add another element, cucumber salad. Thanks again, you guys. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. And I look forward to seeing you the next time.